Overfunctioning women respond to relationship problems the same way they respond to business problems. If something isn't working, they assume the solution is more effort, do more, say more, be more. But in relationships, working harder can quietly become more imbalance that makes the already injustice of imbalance even worse. My name is Ruth Duren. I'm a certified life coach, master coach trained, and MBA, and I help immigrant businesswomen create the lives and the businesses of their dreams without working any harder or longer than necessary. I help them identify what is the root cause of their overworking and how to fix it. So many of my clients are high function women, and unfortunately, their solution that they have been taught for generations has been when something's not working, just work harder. When something's not working, just fix more. When something's not working, take more responsibility and do more. And so they try to solve relationship problems the same way they try to solve their business problems. They work harder. For example, if communication is not working, they explain better. They explain louder. They use more words. So if support isn't happening, they try to support more. They try to do more. They try to be more helpful. If the system feels unstable, they then carry more because they trust themselves. And so they take it on and do more. But the harder they try to fix the dynamic, the heavier and more exhausting this dynamic actually becomes. High capacity women are natural problem solvers. They naturally are very responsible and know how to solve things. So when something feels off in the relationship, they do what they do in business and in life. They assume the solution is more effort. They assume the solution is if they just worked harder, it would all be solved. So they try to explain things better. They try to be more patient. They try to support more. They try to stabilize the system more. At first, it feels responsible. It feels like it is working for them. But over time, something unconscious and subtle happens. The relationship slowly trains them to become the emotional manager, the planner, the stabilizer, the problem solver, the solution to all of it. And they start carrying the entire system. I had a client come to me, and as she was talking about this exact dynamic, what I saw is that there are two horses, and one horse just keeps taking more and more and more of the load. So the horse is overwhelmed. They have like exhaustion. And all my clients will say the same thing when they're in this dynamic. They feel heavy and bogged down. And so I showed her how this was happening and how her exhaustion, unfortunately, began. Because relational imbalance is not solved by more effort on one side. I want to just really repeat that, my dear. The relational imbalance is not solved by more effort on one side. More effort from one person simply creates more imbalance, more unfairness, more injustice. So when so many capable women feel confused, they are working harder than ever. But the dynamic isn't improving. And in fact, my clients will come to me at this point because they're frustrated, they're exhausted, they're depleted, and they're not understanding what happened. In fact, some of them will come to me when they've got a medical diagnosis or they've had something happen because they're carrying the weight. And I want to go back to the analogy that I saw very clearly as my client. This was our first session together. As she was explaining, I clearly saw two horses, one loaded down and the other one not, there's no big problem because they don't see the problem. They don't feel the problem, but my client feels it and is exhausted and at the end of her rope. Not because she is failing. My clients don't come to me because they are failing. But it's because they're trying to solve a two-person dynamic with one person's effort. They're trying to solve things for themselves, their partners, and sometimes even their whole family, adult children, by one person's effort. And that is exhausting. And so if you're constantly feeling like you are holding everything together at home, at work, in relationships, in your business, it may not be the effort that's missing, my dear. It may be the capacity that's being misapplied. It may be the overworking, the overfunctioning, the overdoing on the wrong place, on the wrong thing. And so this is why I put together the quizzes, that the overworking quiz, so that you can identify where you are unconsciously overworking and overfunctioning, so that you can choose on purpose what to fix. And so then you can also see what is driving your exhaustion, your overworking, your overfunctioning, and your fatigue. The link is my bio, and I'll talk to you next time.